Welcome back, friends. In this video, we're gonna implement the asteroids. So this is really gonna step up our game and really, make it a fun experience. Let's take a look at what it looks like now. So we can shoot meteors or asteroids and they will, divide into more asteroids, and it is just amazing. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, since we have shooting implemented, the next logical step is to create the asteroids. So this will be a new scene. And just like the laser scene, it is going to be an area 2D. We can name this to be an asteroid. And let's save it inside of our scenes folder here. And we're going to create a sprite here and a collision shape 2D, sprites, the usual stuff. And for the sprite, we actually have a few options here. If you take a look at our assets, you will see that we have a big, medium, and tiny asteroid. For now, we're going to use the big one, but as you can imagine, we need to, change this depending on the size. So let's use the big one for now, and let's create a collision shape, which is going to be a circle. And this will also need to change depending on the size, because if we have the smaller texture, we need a smaller collision shape as well. Okay, so this will be it for the asteroid, and most of the magic will be in the script. So let's create a script, and this will be an area 2D. And what is the first thing we want to implement here? Okay, so the asteroid needs to move just like the player and the laser. So we're gonna bring back our good old friend, the physics process. And we're gonna, just like the laser, we're gonna create a movement vector here, because this needs to move by itself. And this will be a vector 2 again, 0, -1. And just like the laser, we can say global position plus equals movement vector times. We're also going to have a speed here and then delta, because we want this to be frame rate independent. So we're not going to make the speed an export variable here. So let's make it like 50 for now. Should be enough. We don't want this to move fast. At least the big one. We want them to move at different speeds, so the smaller ones will be faster. Okay, and we also want this to rotate as well. Okay, so let's go back to the game scene and let's instance a meteor, an asteroid here. It is called meteor in the textures, but we're gonna call it asteroid, so if I mix those up, just, I'm referring to the asteroid. Okay, so if I run this now, it should go up, and it does, which is what we want, but we want this to basically go in different directions, and we want it to be random. So we're gonna go inside the script, and what we can do is we can, at the start here, inside of the ready method, we can basically pick a random rotation. So we can say rotation equals, we can pick a random number using random range, which will pick a random float between, in between a range. So we want a number between 0 to 2 times pi. Pi is basically 1/2 of a circle, like 180 degrees. So 2 pi will be, a full rotation. So this will pick a random rotation between, from a full rotation. So we can actually print this out to see. And let's actually print rotation degrees maybe, which might be easier to understand. So if I run this, as you'll see, we get 300, which is that direction, I guess. We can run it again. This time we get almost 180, so almost, straight down. And I'm actually going to quickly create one more input action called restart, or reset maybe. And we're going to give the R key for this. And I want to just go into the game script here and bring the process function and just check for this real quick. Just pressed reset, and if this is pressed, we just say get tree and reload the current scene, just so we can test the game easier. So now if I press R, the scene is reloaded so that we can, easily see that this is working. As you can see, each time I reset, the asteroid goes at a different angle, and it is rotated, as you can see. Okay. Let's go back to the asteroid script. So that is the movement basically. So like I said, we are going to have 3 different sizes: large, medium, and small. And depending on that, a few things will differ: speed, the texture, and the collision shape. So we have the speed here. So let's actually, I'm going to create an enum up here called asteroid, let's say, size. And this will have large, medium, and small. And we're going to create an export variable for this, although it doesn't. Let's make it an export variable for now. Export var size. And this will be asteroid size dot large. Okay, a little typo there, it's fine. And what we can do now is actually inside of this ready method here, we can say, let's create a switch statement, which is match in GD script. So let's match the size. And we're going to say asteroid size large. And let's also check for the other ones. We're going to check for medium. We're also going to check for small. So if it is large, we want to give it a different speed basically. So we're going to say speed equals, let's also do this from a range, because why not? We don't want all of them to be at the same speed. It's boring. So we can say this can be, because it is large, let's say 50 to 100. And for the medium, let's say 100 to 150. And for the small, let's make this faster. So let's say 100 to 200. So now this will basically set a different speed depending on the size. We can test this because we have this as an export. I'm going to change it from, the inspector. So if it's a large, we can also print it out so that we know for a fact it's working. We can print the speed. So if it is large, let's see. It is 98. Wow, almost at full speed. Okay. But it's less than 100, which is, the bottom threshold for the other ones. Let's make it a medium. And this is going to be 126. Okay, let's make this small. And this can be up to 200. Will it be 148 reset, 180? As you can see, when the size changes, the speed changes. But like I said, we also want other things to change. So first, I'm going to change the sprite based on the size. So let's actually create a reference here, sprite. And what we're going to do is inside of here, we can just say sprite.texture. And let's load the texture here. And we're going to load, what is the name? Meteor big. This is going to be for large. And we're going to do the same for small and medium. For small, it's going to be tiny1, the name. And for medium, it's going to be med2, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So now if I run it, it's going to be large. But if I change it to be a medium, wow, it's smaller. Great. If I make it small, it's going to be tiny, as you can see. But the problem now is that if we go to the debug menu here and turn on visible collision shapes, you'll see that even though the meteor, the asteroid, is smaller, the texture, you can see that the collision shape is still the big collision shape. So now what we need to do is change the collision shape's shape. So this collision shape has a shape property, and this shape thing here is actually a resource. And in Godot, we can save resources to disk and load them back inside of our script. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this circle shape by right-clicking on it and clicking on save. And we're going to create a new folder for this called resources. And in here, I'm just going to call this asteroid C shape for collision shape big or large. Let's save it as that. And if we take a look at here it is. Great. Now we can clear this and create a new one, a brand new one, a circle again. I'm going to also change the texture because, I want to get the right size. So this will be for the medium, and the collision shape is going to be this big, maybe a little bit more, make it easier for the player. And we're going to save this one, and we're going to call this one asteroid collision shape medium. And finally, we're going to clear this first, and we're going to get the smallest texture and we're gonna create a new collision shape here. And this is actually the right size by default. And we're gonna save this last one as asteroid collision shape small. Okay, we can set this back to be big because that is like the default size, and the collision shape will be, now we're gonna use the resource instead of creating a new one. So I'm gonna take the large collision shape here. It's actually a little small, but I guess it's fine because it's the biggest one. It's easy to hit anyways. Okay, so now inside of our script, we're basically gonna do the same thing here instead. Well, first let's get a reference to the collision shape so that it's easier. And here we're gonna say collision shape dot shape. So we want to change this based on the size, and we're gonna say, okay, let's preload the asteroid. Where is it? Okay, here it is, large. So this will be large. Let's do this again and again. We don't need to print speed anymore. Let's get rid of that. So for the medium, we're gonna we're gonna load the medium, and for small, we're gonna load small. Okay, now this should, load the correct collision shape based on the size. Let's test this. I'm gonna set, well, it's at small, so let's see if this works or not. As you can see, the collision shape is small. If we set it to be medium, now it's medium. And if I set this to be large, which is the default, it will be large. Great, so we have that working as well. So the next thing I want to implement is the fact that when the meteor or the asteroid goes outside of the screen, we want it to, teleport back to the other side, just like the player does. So once this goes out, I want this to, pop back up from the other side. So it's going to be exactly the same as the players. In fact, we can probably just go to the player script and, just plagiarize this whole thing here. I'm just going to copy this, go back to the asteroid, and this is going to be in the physics process. And this will work, but there will be a problem, as you'll soon see. The problem will be that this is so big that it's not going to look good. So as soon as, the center goes out, it gets teleported, but it is a very, harsh teleport. It is very obvious. We don't want it to be that way. What we're going to do instead is we're going to, take account of the fact that the collision shape has a radius. So if the y position is less than 0, it means that the center here is, less than this threshold here. What we're going to do is we're going to say plus. Well, first let's get the var shape size, I think it's going to be, because we're going to take a look at collision shape. If I can spell collision shape dot radius. Yeah, why am I saying size? It's going to be radius. Let's just call this radius. So I think that works. Yeah, let's see. So we want to say plus radius. So if global position plus radius is less than 0, we're going to set it to be global position dot y is going to be screen size dot y. Is it going to be plus radius? Let's see. I never get this right. If I'm like, whenever I do something like this, I always, mess it up. So I actually want this to go up for sure. So I'm actually going to stop the rotation thing just for a second. And yeah, by default, it'll go up anyways. Go up, up, up. Well, let's see if this works. Kinda. Okay, let's see what's going on there. Okay, let's see. What is this radius I'm trying to do? I'm kind of suspicious of that, so let's see. Okay, that seems okay actually. I should probably do all of these first and then test it, because they might be, affecting each other, and I'm gonna use a couple of parentheses here just because I have, OCD. So else if the y is greater than screen size dot y, this is going to be minus radius. So if minus that is greater than the screen size, we're going to set the global position dot y to be negative radius. Please work. Yeah, that is what I want, exactly. I'm gonna do this again. Just look at it. Yeah, I think that looks good. Yeah, I think that looks fine. I'm gonna do the same for x. So if it is the x is less than 0, so this is going to be plus radius. And we're gonna set it to be screen size x minus, no, plus radius. And we're also gonna say global position dot x minus radius here. And we're gonna set it to be negative radius here. Let's see, let's also, test going down as well first. Go down, please work. Oh God, it is so slow. Should have made it faster. Okay, I think that worked. Yeah, gonna make it a little faster. Oops, I forgot to change the direction. Well, I'm setting the speed. What am I doing? That doesn't work, but whatever. Let's look at this one more time. Okay, great, that works. Okay, I'm just, double checking. Just to make sure, I show the right things so that I don't embarrass myself on YouTube. Okay, now let's check, going left maybe. Go left, please. That looks good. I'm gonna, put this a little bit to the right so that, we don't wait all day. And now I'm gonna make it go right. Okay, good. What if you make it go right up and put it at the edge? Playtesting, it's important. Perfect. I think that's good. Yeah, we can, if there's something wrong with it, we can fix it later, but I think that's good. Let's turn on the rotation thing again, and we can set the movement vector back to be -1. I think that is almost all that we can do here inside of the meteor without, going outside to different scenes because, well, okay, the next thing we need to do is exploding the meteor, which will happen in a function here called explode. And what we want to do, we want to, when the asteroid explodes, we want it to, split in two. If it's a large or a medium. If it's a small, we just want it to go away. So if it explodes, we're going to split into, and we're going to do that inside the game scene, just like we did for the laser. We're going to create a node here called Asteroids. And you can actually put this one underneath this asteroid's parent. And I'm going to move it towards the center here. So what we're going to do is similar to the laser, just like we inside the player, we created a signal called laser shot. Inside of the asteroid, we're going to create a signal called exploded. And this will send some information that we're going to, figure out soon. But this explode function will basically emit that signal. What was it called? I just created a second ago. Wow, exploded, yeah. Okay, so, and we also want to, delete this one. So I'm gonna free this. And inside of the game, we're gonna connect the signal. And because we're gonna have, multiple meteors, so asteroids. Okay, I keep mixing them. So let's create a few here. Maybe like 5 is fine. So because we're gonna have a few here, we don't want to go through each and, manually connect a signal. We're just going to say inside of ready, we're going to get all of them and create a for loop here. I'm going to say for, asteroid in, let's create a reference here to asteroids. So we're going to get the children out of this, get children. So for each asteroid inside, underneath the asteroid's parent, we're going to say asteroid.connect, and let's connect the exploded signal to on asteroid exploded. we're going to create this function down here, and we're going to pass some information to this, because in order to create, 2 more asteroids, we need to know some info, like the position and the size, for example. So when the asteroid explodes, we want to create new ones, potentially if it's not a small one. So we need the asteroid scene here. So we're going to preload that so that we can do it. And let's also pass that information there, which is going to be the position and the size. So this will take in the global position of the exploded meteor and the size. Great, so now inside of the game, we have those here. So the position and the size. Now we can create a new asteroid A, instantiate, and we're going to set its global position to be the pause, and we're going to set its size to be this, not this size actually, I lied, because we actually want to, okay, how do we want to do this? Okay, this is what we're going to do. Let's actually create another function, because this will be cleaner. Spawn asteroid, let's say, and this will also take in the position and size, and we can take that stuff to there. Okay, and in here, we're only going to do, a match statement for the size. And we're going to, get that stuff that we had in here. I don't want to copy that, actually. Let's write it again. So that is going to be asteroid dot asteroid size dot large, I think. What did we call it? Let's go back. Asteroid size, yeah, that is what we called it. So that should be fine. We'll create that again and again. So asteroid isn't defined, declared. We're gonna fix that, and these need to be capital, small. Okay, let's go back to the asteroid script. We need to create a class name here, so that we can get access to the enum from other scripts. Now it's gonna work. Cool. So okay, what is the deal here? So an asteroid exploded, and we want to create another one. And we're actually going to do this twice. So we're going to create a for loop here and say range 2. And put all of this in the for loop so that we do this twice, because we want to create 2 more asteroids, not just a single one. So if it's a large one, we want to do spawn asteroid and spawn it at this position, but make this one a asteroid size, make this one a medium. And for the medium, same thing, but we want to make this one a small. And for the small, for now, we're not going to do anything, because there isn't anything to do actually. So this looks fine for this. Let's take a look at the spawn asteroids function. Let's complete this. So we did create one. We are setting the position. Now we just need to set the size, and here we can just set the size, because this is now the correct size that we're passing. And we also need to connect the signal. Let's not forget that. That is a mistake I do all the time. So this is going to be exploded, and this will be on asteroid exploded will be the name. And finally, we need to add this to the asteroids parent as a child. Okay, so let's see. We have the explode function. We are emitting the signal, deleting this one, good. Inside of game, we are checking the size and spawning more asteroids depending on it, and everything looks good. But we have no way of testing this right now, because we can't actually shoot them with the laser. So even if I play the game now, shoot asteroids, nothing will happen, because we need to, implement that as well. Okay, let's do that real quick. It shouldn't be difficult. So asteroid has the ability to explode. We just need to trigger it from the laser. Do we have this on the right collision layer? No. Okay, so let's put this at 3, and this will look for world. It will also look for the player. It won't look for other asteroids, but it will look for projectiles. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go inside the laser, and we're gonna connect the area entered signal. And in here, we're going to say, if this area is an asteroid, we can just say a.explode, basically, make it explode. I like doing this because I think it makes it clearer than just using area as a variable. And then we can also say we also want to delete the laser, Q3. This should be enough to explode the asteroid, actually. So let's give it a shot. Boom, boom. And now we have 2 medium ones. And if I also delete, come on. No, come on. Okay, now we have 2 small ones. 2 medium ones, random directions, 2 small ones, random directions. And if I, if I'm lucky enough to shoot a small one, it just disappears. And we are getting some errors here, which is concerning. So let's take a look at them. Can't change the state while flushing queries. Okay, so this is something that comes up sometimes with Godot. And the way you fix it is, it just wants you to use call deferred instead of, calling a function directly. So when it happens, it's easy to fix. I don't even know why it's happening. I guess it is not possible to do this at that moment you're trying to do it. So it's simple. We just need to say asteroids dot call deferred. And what we want to call is add child. And the argument is a. So instead of this line, we're just going to call this line, which should fix that one. But I think we also have another one here. That is from the game. And okay, so it doesn't like this one either. Can't change the state while flushing queries. Okay, so this is not a function call. So this will be a set deferred because we're trying to set something. So it doesn't like the fact that we're setting this shape here. Fine, whatever, Godot. You're the man. We're just gonna, trust you and say set deferred. And what we're trying to set is the shape. And we are trying to set it to be this here. Okay, so we can copy this, paste, copy this, paste. And we just need to change the name again here. Very fun. Small for this one. And for this one, it's going to be medium. Okay, hang in there, guys. We are almost done, I think. So let's get rid of those shapes there. So this way, I think we should not get those errors anymore. And we are not getting them as far as I can tell. So at this point, I think we basically have the, the core game mechanics working. Besides, also the asteroid also has to kill the player. Okay. And we need the scoring to work as well. Okay, so we have a couple things missing, but I think, as far as a game, this is definitely working. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop this video now because it is getting really long and, continue in the next one. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to learn more about Godot, I have a course. Check the link in the description or in the video. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something new. Stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.